All right, Putin the cat is studying what the hell this is. This is actually he's looking at it. He's like curious. You know, what the hell is this damn thing? This is a 50 caliber upper for a AR15, or actually a Colt Sporter. Actually, that's what they call it. It's not an AR15. It's a Colt Sporter. Actually, it's a little bit different. And I'll explain about this. Actually, this thing I haven't really put this thing together all the way. I'm waiting for one part because I don't want to actually modify this too much. And little critter here is just going to hang out. He's going to say, "Hey, I'm going to hang out on the rifle here." But anyway, this is a 50 cal, and he's curious. You know, this is the hammer that he's walking on, and this is the pin, and you got to replace the spring and the hammer. It requires a heavier hammer. So as Putin is looking at it, he's instructing you, and you got to be smart and shrewd like a cat too when you're dealing with the government. So who knows? You know, maybe, who knows? But these are the rounds. So I'm going to give them a close-up. These are the 50 cal rounds. These are the same ones using the M2, you know, the big famous one that's been used by the armed forces for so long. And this is the Grendel, 6.5 Grendel, which is right next to it. And you notice this is the 5.56, the same length as the Grendel. The Grendel is a great round, but you can see just from the sheer size of this round, it's much better. Now, you could put the upper receiver on this, but what I have to do here is, like, I either take this out, and I don't want to keep taking this out to use this. I'm ordering another magazine catch, and I'm going to modify it so I can close this, because I don't want to keep changing parts in this thing, and that's not good. If you keep knocking this pin out all the time, this pin's going to come out of here. So I'm going to modify this so this can close, and I can use it with the Grendel upper, I can use it with the 5.56 upper, and also it has this, you can see it's a very heavy barrel, you know, it's extremely heavy. And this isn't the real long barrel, but it's not the real short barrel either. And instead of using, what do you call it, the scope, I have iron sights on it. So it's set up with iron sights. I'm not going to mess around with scopes because I don't trust them, even if they're really good. Because if they really get smacked around, something can happen with them. Now this thing, this is the magazine catch here on the top. You just flip this, and this pulls out, and you just put it in a slot in the back here. Okay? And that's the way it works. And you can see it's made by Safety Harbor. It's one of the ones out there. It's 50 cal. The SHTF 50. So, you know, it's when everything goes down. This is what you're going to have to use when the Gestapo and the Nazis take over. You're going to have to use some wonderful thing like this. And got to make sure it works. Now, this hammer, you know, it's a lot heavier. Now, I'm not sure about the reliability of using this hammer with the 5.56. I bet you it works okay with the Grendel. Now, some people had questions about, you know, how much strain is on these pins. Actually, nothing. Nothing. All the force is actually taken up here. There's really nothing taken on these pins. And people have fired thousands of rounds using these lowers, and the lower doesn't really take any kind of abuse at all. It's all up here. So it comes with its own bolt, and you can see it's bolt fed, and it's magazine fed. You can put 10 rounds in here, and you got 10 rounds as fast as you can fire and remove the bolt. But you don't fire this very fast, that's for sure, because it's a very powerful weapon. And I would recommend a recoil pad on the back of this thing too. Big time if you're firing this. But I'm waiting on another bolt catch, because to install this you have to knock this out, and right now I'm leaving it configured for the 5.56 and the 6.5 Grendel. I'm not going to change out the hammer until I get this, you know, I had it changed out, but I just decided to put it back the way it was, because I'm not going to change it out until it's going to be ready to go back and forth between 50 cal, 6.5, and 5.56. So this is a great weapon. That's why I say, you know, that's not the AR15. It's actually the Colt Sporter. But it's a great weapon. It's got a lot of different platforms. You can use the 6.8 Remington with it. You can use the 50 cal Beowulf with it, and you can use this thing. So this thing's actually very powerful. Now these things actually, these run you about $3 each, cheap. So you're not going to shoot a lot of these because they're pretty expensive, but it makes this weapon extremely versatile because, you know, they say you can't hunt with it. Oh, bullshit, bullshit. You know, you have every single caliber available for this weapon. Every single caliber, all of them, from the small 5.56 and even something smaller if you want, to all the way up to the 50 cal and the 6.8 to 6.5. And also even there's like a lesser 50 cal out there that's subsonic. So you pretty much covered everything. You pretty much covered everything. So this is a great weapon design. Just want to point out this is how it's set up. And I just use the iron sights because the scopes are big bucks and I don't trust them, to tell you the truth. Iron sights always work. And to me, from my experience, I had no trouble hitting stuff hundreds and hundreds of yards with just plain iron sights. Plain iron sights. So it's not hard, you know, it's not that difficult. But I would recommend a recoil pad for this baby because, you know, the power doesn't really get knocked into the pins. It actually goes into this back here, you know, where the buffer spring is. But of course the buffer spring isn't employed in this case. But you're going to feel some recoil going through your shoulder. So I would recommend a very good recoil pad for this weapon if you decide to modify. And this makes the AR-15, or this is actually called the Colt Sporter. This is not an AR-15. It looks like it. Is actually extremely versatile. I mean, you can use it for any kind of game. I mean, this could be for like the polar bear to the moose to the elephant with that thing, all the way down to like coyotes with the 5.56. So it's extremely versatile. And you know, we know what the gun control people are doing. They're control freaks, and that's really the word that needs to be said and emphasized. Control. Control. They are control freaks. Just like they're destroying the human race with genetically modified foods, they're destroying the human race with medicines that don't work, that actually harm the body. They want to control you 110% by them controlling the weapons. They don't have anything against weapons. They want to control them only. And they're going to tell you exactly how to think and what to do. So, this is your defense against the Gestapo and the Nazis. So, remember, just for some people, not that I know a lot of people aren't really against Jews, but just remember, you know, it hits a nerve with me when people get too much against Jews. Just remember, Jews are very, very just people. And, you know, when the shit comes down to it, let's make sure we all protect the Jews against them getting blamed for all kinds of crap that has nothing to do with them at all. Because the blame is actually to be all the way around. Actually also from people just being too lazy and getting a situation so crazy that maybe at one point in time you will need these things. So be prepared and chill out. That's the other thing. So that's the word from Putin the cat. Chill out.